Good morning again, everybody. So with it being Mother's Day, we turn our thoughts to mothers and to women in general, because there is something innate within a mother, within a woman, that is beautiful. And that beauty lies in the ability to have offspring, a uniqueness and a beauty that rests within the female gender. And often that precious gift goes unnoticed or undervalued or underappreciated. But this is part of a bigger design. This gift that the Lord has given is part of the grand design and is representative of higher, more beautiful things. And so if we cherish and value this gift that the Lord has given in this world, there is something spiritual of even more value, that is even more precious, that the Lord asks us to value and appreciate too. And so while we speak to mothers, we also speak to women. And for some women, for a variety of reasons, they may not be able to have children. And for some, having children is a reality. But what we're valuing is that design, that the Lord has designed it so that new life can be brought into this world. I saw I can't remember if it was a TikTok video or a YouTube video, but it was talking about women and the value of women. It said, whatever you give a woman, she will make greater. Give her the seed of life, and she will give you a baby. Give her a house, and she will give you a home. And it went on more and more, ending with the idea that women multiply and enlarge what is given. And I thought that was a very beautiful way of putting the underlying essence of women. That there is something that they are given, and through that they are then able to care and nurture and grow and clothe something and make it greater than it was. And it is that gift of taking something valuable, taking something precious, taking something delicate, and clothing it with a form, nurturing it, helping it to grow. That is what we're celebrating today. And through that nurturing and forming and growing, we have an expression of life, but also an expression of love in this world. And without that, there is no life on this planet. We are all here today because we are products of that beautiful design of the Lord. And so this feminine use of being able to take something small and delicate and provide a form for it and nurture it and help it grow, that feminine form is what is then reproduced on higher and higher levels all the way to the Lord. And it's this feminine use that has within it the beauty and the life of the Lord. I want to read to you from the Teachings for the New Church, and it's going to describe our proprium. Our proprium is the core of what we experience as life. Our proprium represents or describes what is ours. And the Lord is trying to create within us a new life. So if we think of woman bringing new life into this world, On a spiritual level, the Lord is trying to bring a new life into our minds. And so let us read from the Teachings for the New Church from the book Secrets of Heaven, number 154. You can follow along in your pew cards. As a result, when anyone is offered a glimpse of the content of his proprium, the selfish proprium, he is horrified at himself and wishes to run as though from the devil. On the other hand, contents of the proprium which has been given life by the Lord look beautiful and attractive, varying according to the life to which a celestial quality, that is the Lord's, can be added. So the Lord is trying to build and grow and nurture within each one of us this beautiful new spiritual proprium, new spiritual self. And so we have these two ideas now. That the feminine in this world is about clothing life in this world and bringing life into this world. And there's a feminine on the spiritual level of the Lord trying to create and bring new life into our minds. So we're going to be looking more closely at those two things. The creation of this feminine within us is something that is given to us in the first books of the Bible, in Genesis. The Lord talks about the creation of Adam and Eve. Adam, in that story, represents the part of our mind that is intellectual, that is of our understanding. It's the part of our mind that loves to learn, and particularly loves to learn from the Lord's Word, and loves to learn from the Lord's Word in order to become wise, to put it into use. That's what Adam is, that intellectual part of us. Eve represents that feminine part of our minds that desires to take what we're learning and find the form within our daily life in which that idea can be expressed. So the masculine finding the ideas and the inspiration, and the feminine finding the form within our life that we can live by. And those two, like a marriage in this world, is the marriage within each one of our own minds. So whether you are male or female as to your body, within your mind, you are male and female. So as a man, I am male and female within my mind, and the same for each person. The understanding and the will the Lord wants to bring together in a marriage. So that idea of coming together and creating new life not only exists within this world, but also within our minds, within our spiritual life. The Lord wants to bring our intellect and our will together. And through this marriage, we come to a wholeness in our mind. When the intellect and the will are married together, you could say we are now complete. There is a myth out in the world that we think of someone else will complete me. I lack things, and if I find the right person, they will complete me and make me a whole person. It's the other way around. If I am a complete person, then I am better able to be the person that someone else needs me to be. And so we need to think about how do we, within our own minds, bring together these two essential elements of our will and our understanding so that they can make one within us, so that we can be the best that we can be for all those around us. So if the masculine part of our mind, the Adam part of our mind, is that part that goes in search of knowledge, goes in search of ideas and inspiration, that is not enough. We can love to know what the Lord teaches. That is not enough. Let's read together from the book Conjugal Love, or Married Love, number 66. It says, abstract goods and truths have no real existence because they are not grounded in anything, having no underlying foundation. Indeed, neither can they be seen as flitting about in the air. Consequently, as abstractions, they are merely figments, which reason supposes it can think about abstractly, but which in reality cannot accept as, which it really cannot accept as attributes of concrete subjects. It should further be known that no concrete thing exists without having a form. No concrete thing exists without having a form. A thing unformed is not anything, because nothing can be predicated of it. And a subject without predicates is also the figment of a fanciful imagination. What that passage is highlighting is the vital importance, the value of the feminine use. Ideas are one thing, but putting them into a form within our lives is what really matters. We can have lots of ideas and not live according to them. So the feminine mind is about trying to take the ideas that we get from the Lord's Word and finding forms that allow those to be expressed within our minds and then within the relationships that we have around us. So how do we give form? What is it to take this feminine attribute that is within our minds and use it to give form to our mind or to ideas? We've been learning from childhood about all sorts of things. And as we grow, so we learn more and more things from the Lord's Word. And as we come to an adult state, adult doesn't refer to age. Adult state refers to a state of our life where we are willing and responsible to look at our own selves. We're in an adult state when we're willing to look at ourselves. And so we go from learning about things out there and to an adult state where we're willing to learn about things in here. What is going on in my mind? What is going on in my heart? That is an adult state that exists within us as we mature in our spiritual journey. And in that adult state, we're willing to discover things about ourselves that are possibly hurtful. Right? We run away from them, like we read in our first verse. There are things we might discover about ourselves that I wish I hadn't seen that, or pretend that we didn't see. As we go and use the Lord's Word to look at ourselves, we discover things about ourselves. We discover insights into things that we hadn't seen before. I want to pause for a moment here. A couple of weeks ago, someone said to me, you know what I really need to do is to bring a notepad into church and make notes while I'm listening. Because often I'll hear of something, I'll be inspired by something, and by the time I go out and interact and have tea and coffee and a good conversation, I've forgotten what the Lord stirred within my mind. While you read the Word for yourself, or while you listen to someone preach, the Lord is working to stir within your mind an idea. That is the masculine part. The feminine part, the feminine use, is to then take that insight that we have and start making something out of it. But if we forget what it was that that was brought to mind, then the feminine side can't do its work. I remember in church there was this idea, but it's gone. We value the learning part, the masculine part, but we don't value the feminine as much. We value the masculine, but we don't value the feminine. And we can see that on an earthly plane within this world where we're still struggling to value the feminine. The same exists within our spiritual lives. We value the masculine, we value the learning, but we don't necessarily value the taking those insights that we've received and now doing something with them in our life. Take, for example, an idea while you're listening to a sermon, you think of the Lord being the center of your life, or the Lord always being before you. That's an idea that angels, that we get from heaven and hell. The angels always have the Lord before them. There is a little idea. If we wrote that down on a piece of paper, and we took that with us into Monday, often church is referred to not as just a Sunday thing, but a Monday to Saturday. That's where church really happens. If we took that idea with us then into our Monday and our Tuesday and our Wednesday and our Thursday, and we asked ourselves continually all the day, is the Lord always before me? What we will discover is no. Often before me are the cares of this world. Often before me are the things of myself. And every now and again, the Lord pops into the center. But on the whole, the Lord's not really the center of my life. Now we've taken that little inspiration, we've written it down, and we've taken it with us. Now we're starting to value the feminine part of our mind, which is trying to find the form, trying to find ways in which we can take this idea and express it within our minds or see it within our minds. And what it does is it helps us to become aware. We're now more aware of the fact that the Lord isn't always before me. The Lord isn't the center of my life. I am. And now it has been given form. We have experienced the Lord's word working in our life, and that is the feminine attribute, the feminine use. Taking the Lord's word, taking those inspirations, taking those ideas, and taking them into my personal life every day, and seeing how does it come to show itself, how does it present, what form can I bring to it within my own mind. And so the feminine is about taking that little inspiration, that delicate, precious little idea, and taking care of it. Because that precious, vulnerable, delicate little idea can easily be forgotten, can easily be discarded. That spark of life can easily be lost within the things of this world. And so the feminine use within our minds is to take that little spark of an idea that we get from the Lord and to help it grow, nurture it, work with it, find how this idea interacts with the other thoughts in my idea, help it to grow, nourish it, bring it into a fullness of life. So that's the feminine side of our spiritual life that we don't always give value and appreciation for. It's easy to value the masculine. It is not so easy to value the feminine. It's much easier to learn ideas than it is to actually live those ideas within the landscape of our minds. So in our story of Moses, we saw that take place within that story. Moses representing the Lord's word, and the Pharaoh's daughter representing that feminine use. And she goes to the word, She picks up the word, she uncovers the word, and the word cries out to her. The word speaks to us. It cries out to us. It gives us those little inspirations. And then the choice is ours. Do we have compassion? Do we take care of this little idea, this inspiration that we have received, or don't we? So Moses then is just that idea of taking care of those small ideas, those inspirations we get from the Lord. And so this Mother's Day, as we spend time with family, as we spend time with the women and the mothers within our life, we value their feminine nature in this world and their ability to care for and to nurture and to give form to life in this world. And in that use, we think of the feminine use within our own lives. Can I value the woman in this world? And can I value the feminine use within my own mind? Not just wanting to learn, but wanting to live according to the principles that are in my mind. And through the feminine use, we come to being more caring, more compassionate, not just with ourselves, but with all those in this world. Amen. Please rise.